Hey guys, so Scared here, and let's talk about the Dead by Daylight and Fnaf collab because, let's talk about the Dead by Daylight and Fnaf collab because I think there's lore, guys. Like, there's lore. I joined T-Dreads' stream today, and I think a lot of people came away disappointed at the end of the stream because there didn't appear to be any like obvious lore in the map, and that's probably going to be reserved for the actual release because this was just like a beta or something. So I get that, but like, guys, there's lore, and it's neatly packed into the character description. So I think that, okay, I only have one theory up, and it's the best. Okay, I'm sorry. I only have one theory up, and if you're subscribed and you watched it, thank you, and thank you for everyone's support. I'll summarize it later, but for now, you know what you came here for. So Dead by Daylight supports Nightmare Theory, in my opinion, in 3 ways. And I forgot what they are. I'm freestyling here. First of all, by calling attention or just putting importance on the events of Follow Me. We all know Follow Me. And secondly, by I forgot. You know, maybe there's a middle point. You know, I can freestyle and check my notes. Okay. Secondly, by calling attention to the unique circumstances that led to the creation of Springtrap. Springtrap was born from the death of a murderer. What was it that Pig Patch said in Ultimate Custom Night?
I consider it a dignified death. Not really. It was actually quite pathetic.
And lastly, by emphasizing the unknown but long period of time that Springtrap spent in the safe room at Freddy's, which begins with everything going black and ends with Afton waking up and finding that the ghosts that had tormented him were gone. This is of course the intro to the collab, and also we know this, so what? The ghosts of his victims that tormented him are gone, and now he's free to take part in this awesome collab. But let that sink in for a moment. The ghosts of his victims that tormented him, Undead. The ghosts of his victims did what?
What a gift to relish, a victim that can't perish.
I don't think this torment is referring to the springlock death. Like, I'm sure that shit hurted, but no, I'm talking about Nightmare Theory. I think that line, this lore implication, supports the premise of Nightmare Theory, that once Follow Me ends and everything fades to black, the nightmares begin.
No light can save you now.
There's still more to talk about, like with the actual gameplay. But for now, I'm going to summarize Nightmare Theory real quick. So in summary, Nightmare Theory proposes the following. This hurts. Fnaf 4 is a nightmare. It's entirely a nightmare. Even the minigames. And since Fnaf 4 is simply a nightmare, the lore and the stories of the first 3 games remain intact. This is in stark contrast to something like Dream Theory, which writes off the first 3 games in order to try and make the illusion of Fnaf 4 into reality. No offense to MatPat, he's an OG, he paved the way. But given that Fnaf 4 is a nightmare, Nightmare Theory still holds that Fnaf 4 is entirely canon and a significant part of the story. If that was ever a doubt in anyone's mind.
I assure you, I am very real.
So the events that we see unfold in the game may be total fabrications, but I think they happened, and I think they can be traced to a very particular location, which was recently mentioned in the Dead by Daylight collab, deep within the abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, enclosed in the walls of the safe room, and entirely contained inside the mind of. When it comes to the protagonist of Fnaf 4, although it is experienced from the point of view of a child, Nightmare Theory only entertains one possible candidate, the only one who deserves to suffer night after night of the nightmares' onslaught, the only one who, in that safe room at the abandoned Freddy's, meets the Fnaf canonized criteria for this exact situation: immobilized, unconscious, and at the mercy of one dedicated, resentful, vengeful spirit.
This is a nightmare that you won't wake from. Greetings from the fire, and from the one you should not have killed.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest. I'll never let you rest.
The protagonist of Fnaf 4 is the antagonist of the entire series. The only one trapped, plush trapped, inside the nightmare. But I digress. The collab's recounting of what happened to William and Follow Me is on its own not much of a lore implication like I claimed, but more of a lore revelation. But don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about Nightmare Theory and how like it should have been obvious, because it really wasn't at all. That 11-minute runtime was the result of 5+ years of obsessive theorizing. I worked hard on Nightmare Theory, and it was difficult to put the pieces together. So what I think the Dead by Daylight collab can contribute to lore enthusiasts and gamers and just fans is more Springtrap. You gotta love him. The tragedy of the games, and part of the reason why I think it was so hard to even come up with something like Nightmare Theory is that Springtrap is only with us for 5 nights, which is why I think a lot of people forget or just neglect to acknowledge what Dead by Daylight has recently reminded us of. That unknown but long stretch of time that Springtrap actually existed for. This was decades. He spent a good chunk of time rotting in that safe room. I work off of Fnaf 1, which most people agree is early 90s, and so I'm like, okay, Follow Me is mid 90s. Let's say 1995. That's the 10-year anniversary of 1985, when the MCI happened, which is quite fitting and it rhymes. And Fnaf 3 obviously being 30 years after 85 puts it at 2015, so from 95 to 2015 is 20 years. 20 years rotting in the safe room. I think that's a reasonable amount of time for a game to take place, for something to happen, especially given the circumstances. This also adds more shock and, for me, like, I guess humor to Springtrap's initial appearance, or I guess debut to the world as Springtrap at Fazbear's Fright. Just knowing that the clueless Fazbear Frights team unknowingly unearthed a mass murderer and simultaneously awakened him, freed him from the only thing that was keeping him from coming back. So he came back.
I always come back.
And even though he's fresh from enduring decades of curated night terrors serving to teach him a lesson, his first instinct is still to immediately chase after the first child he thinks he hears. And technically, that is the same state of mind that he's debuting in Dead by Daylight in. He's been freed from his nightmare, this time by the entity and not Phone Dude. He's pissed off, badass, and more than ready to make up for lost time. That agony isn't gonna inflict itself. So in conclusion, I am so excited for this to like actually come out. And again, I know that a lot of people came away disappointed not finding lore in the map. They'll probably like actually launch that stuff when this collab actually launches, and the lore is neatly packed right there in the description. You just gotta look. But of course, it's not just that. Like the gameplay, the entirety of the gameplay is huge to me, because the more we see, the more we play as Springtrap in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, you might realize that Springtrap spent a lot of time there, that he belongs there. If it wasn't for the Fazbear Frights team, who knows how many nights he would have spent at Freddy's. Cassidy was ready to give him 5 eternities at Freddy's, but don't take my word for it. I'm the vengeful spirit. I f***ing hate William Afton. Did you guys hear that? Thank you for watching. Get hype. Even if you disagree, like it looks so sick. It looks so sick. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm working on my next video. I know, I'll see you later.